Yes, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is all about ANGE-BALL. Celtics manager Ange Postecoglou's put a lovely brand of football together. Sorry, he's Rangers fans, but he has. I've watched them over the last few weeks, did a little bit of reading, watched them have a really impressive first half performance against Real Madrid. So we're going to talk about that. Links down in the description, takes you over to FM Scout where you can download the tactics for free, either through your Steam or as a direct download. And remember, guys, these tactics are not OP tactics. They're not designed to deliberately break the game in terms of results. These are replications of what I see in real life, and if you're wanting to replicate a similar sort of manager or a style, then these tactics are for you, so make sure you drop a subscribe down below. Alright guys, let's get into today's video. Okay, so the first thing I've actually done, I don't do this very often, mainly because the tactic isn't all about the results that you get from it generally. It's normally about how I've set up the teams to replicate the real life. However, I thought this tactic would work pretty well, and as you can see, it has. 102 goals, 3 defeats was kind of annoying. We'd got to the halfway stage and we were actually unbeaten, but unbeaten season wasn't to be. 102 goals, only 31 conceded, 93 points. We'll take that. We also won the League Cup and the FA Cup, so a treble winning season for Celtic. Okay, so here is the tactic. ANGE-BALL, 4-3-3. Right, so generally he's actually played, he likes his rotations and positional play, very much of the ilk of kind of, bits of Pep Guardiola in there, looking to dominate the ball, high possession stats, but obviously trying to get the inverted wing backs to act as central midfielders. Brilliant that having the use of inverted wing backs does help making sure that you don't get counter-attacked, and that works really well actually in the match engine. I will give SI credit for that this year. The quality of the inverted wing backs and the positions they take up are really, really good. So you've got two inverted wing backs on either side. You've got two ball-playing defenders with a sweeper keeper on defend. Joe Hart is not amazing with his feet, but he is asked to do the basics in terms of being quite cool and quite calm on the ball, and he did that pretty well in the game, especially in the first half against Real Madrid. In the middle of the midfield, probably the role that I've struggled to kind of find an exact role for. It'll be interesting. Let me know down in the comments what you think kind of McGregor is. I didn't want him as a deep line playmaker because even though he's very good at progressing the ball and quite clever with his passes, I find that role to be quite slow, and obviously at the moment everything that Celtic do is quick and high tempo, so I didn't want him to be really getting hold of the ball, slowing the play down as maybe what a playmaker would. So I've just got him as a DM on support. He did get into these areas. It wasn't as if he sat back as a half-back or anything like that. So I've just put him as a DM on support with instructions to tackle harder and mark tighter. In the middle of the midfield, the game against Real Madrid, it was Matt O'Reilly that played on the right-hand side of the three. And I think it was Hatate that played in the midfield at the time. We've gone with Moye in here just because he's quite good in Football Manager. But basically the position, at first I thought it was a bit of a 4-2-3-1 because about halfway through the first half, I went onto SofaScore to see the average positions, and Matt Riley was the furthest attacking player on the pitch due to his average positions. However, when they do lose possession, he was getting in to make a three. So this is why I've put him as a central midfielder on attack rather than a shadow striker. Okay? No playing instructions on that. And then the other role is a Mazzala. We did find sort of like Hatate getting any sort of like, if he did a rectangle here from Jota all the way down to the fullback, he was often drifting into these areas. Very clever on the ball, moving the ball, trying to get the ball to the danger men, which is obviously the wide guys. Abada was a player that impressed me. I don't know, Celtic fans, I don't watch a lot. I'd be interested to know your thoughts. I thought he got himself into fantastic positions. He looked very good playing against the high line because obviously he has a little bit of pace. It was just his end product. If he had a little bit of an end product, I think you may have gone in at least leading at least 1-0 at half-time. But then I did realise he's only young. He's 20 in the game, so he'll be 21 now in real life. He looked pretty useful. I've got him as a winger on attack. And then on the left-hand side, we've got Jota. I've got him on roam from position. I didn't want an inverted winger because he does like to keep the width. Ange Postecoglou. Jota also does look at delivering from the wide areas a little bit more. So I wanted to keep his width. But I've asked him to roam from position because he does like to get on the ball and play make a little bit. So we've got that on the hope that he will kind of at some point drift into different areas to pick up the ball. And then up front, we've gone for Giamakis, who played against, I've never seen him play up until the Real Madrid game. I thought he led the line really well, worked hard, worked the channels, big and physical when he needed to be. So I've got him as a pressing forward on attack. All right, that is the starting 11. Mentality, we started this season as positive, but I've changed it on to attacking just because we, especially in the games in the Scottish League, I thought we were just been a little bit too methodical with our passing. Even though we've got higher tempo, we were struggling to break teams down. So I thought, right, let's be more quick, let's be more aggressive. So I've put it up to attack and it's worked really well. In possession, we've got passing to space. Quite simple. Passing to space and higher tempo. That is it, with a fairly wide natural attacking width. In transition, we're counter-pressing, countering. Everything is about pressing hard, working hard. That's unfortunately for Celtic. They ran out of steam in that Champions League game, that half-time whistle. They needed to get a goal, I think, and then maybe they could have set up differently in the second half. It wasn't to be, and then they went chasing early on in the second half and got caught out. But counter-press and counter-in when they do lose possession, and then asking the goalkeeper to roll it out to the centre-backs. Out of possession, we've got a narrow defensive width. Try and make it harder for the team. I know it's going to be a transition thing, but trying to make it a little bit harder for teams to break us down and to hit us on the break. Remember, we've got them inverted wing-backs as well, who will naturally come into this midfield area to stop counter-attacks. Much higher defensive line, much higher line of engagement, something that Celtic are really used to at the moment. Obviously, they dominate 60+% possession in the Scottish Premiership at the moment, so important that we get that high and we try and keep teams pinned in as much as possible. Once again, the inverted wing-backs does that, helps us recycle the ball, helps us win second balls, very important. And then I've put the trigger press up to much more often. All right, that is the tactic. Let me know your thoughts down below. I said I've only covered them and sort of like read up on them over the last maybe 7 to 10 days. And I've kind of based, especially the starting 11, on the team that played against Real Madrid. Okay, guys, we're just going to check out a few little highlights, a few little clips to see the damage that it could do. This was a League Cup or an FA Cup semi-final where we won 1-0. So we're progressing the ball. But what we are doing is we're trying to get the ball to move quickly. I think it's important that, especially in transitions like we've got now, that we move the ball quickly. If the tempo is too slow, it gives teams like Ross County to get that low block in, so we need to move the ball quick. And as you can see, McGregor, playing as a Mazzala, has broken into that left half space. Quick, incisive passings, Dejan into Moy, and there he is. Centre midfielder on attack will score you an absolute bag full of goals this season. And there you go, once again, if I just pause it, there's Jovanovic, inverted wing-back. Rio, the other inverted wing-back as well, so getting very, very narrow. It does mean if there's any turnovers in possession here, we're in areas where we can stop it at source. I think if these were in these wide areas, it leaves more gaps in the middle of the pitch. Very important if you're trying to stop a counter-attack. We move the ball quick. You know, it's quick, it's easy. We're not trying to do too much. Obviously, a little bit of short passing in McGregor, Mazzala on attack, getting in on these underlaps. Really important. I think they're really important as well, mainly because of the wide players. We're asking Abada, we're asking Jota, playing us as wide men. They naturally keep the width. So we need those inverted runs. We need those underlaps. And the two central midfielders, the Mazzala and the centre midfielder on attack, do that really, really well. And then once again, you know, the free kicks are short, they're sharp. We're looking at the movement. I think it's McGregor that's going to get on. There he is at the Mazzala at the moment. There's the holding midfielder. Just watch the movement of McGregor. He does actually, I don't know if it's intentional, but he peels off really well off the number 12 Edwards. And then he's got that space. Because we've got, if I zoom out, because we've got Jota keeping the width on that left-hand side, it does mean that the right-back gets sucked across and it leaves that hole. And Abada does cut in this time on his right foot and he finds McGregor, who comes in on goal and finishes really, really well. So I think the thing you've got with that, if you're going to play with wingers in Football Manager, and if you're going to play with wingers generally, you need those underlapping runs. It does pull the defence across the pitch. Celtic are really good at it. This is why he keeps his width. When they're playing against low blocks, you need those wide players to keep the width so it stretches the back four and then it leaves the space in the half spaces for underlapping runs so you can get those quick sort of like positional passes in and positional movements that you need. Very much like a Manchester City kind of do as well, to get those quick passes in. So you can get these sort of positions here where your centre midfielders are breaking into the box, into a little bit of space. And then here we go. We're asking to press. We're high up the pitch. Look, we've won the ball in a really good area. We've lost it out again, but we're counter-pressing, so we've won that ball back instantly. Ross County are a little bit all over the place, so it gives us the option. Giamakis coming off the line, linking the play really well. And it does create, look, because he's come off the line, it leaves that space in there for a midfielder, a wide player. I think it's now Dejan who's on that side. He's coming in to get involved. Lovely little movements. Pass, pass, pass. And a really good finish. All right, guys. There's just a few little clips there to show you what can be done. This will work in any league, any standard. If you wanted to dominate games and play some really good football, inverted wing-backs, by the way, boys. My new favourite positions on Football Manager. Let me know down in the comments if you use inverted wing-backs. Do you use two or just one? I'm looking for FM23 for my main save. I'm making sure that I have two inverted wing-backs and really seeing if we can stop counter-attacks at source. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow is Xavi, the last Football Manager 2022 tactic. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. See you later.